So David Forst says they're going to try him to be a starting pitcher again. So I thought let's have a little look at how AJ Puk pitched in 2022 and what he may need to do in 23 to make it as a starting pitcher in the big leagues. To do that, we're going to have a look at their Baseball Savant, or Savant, if you want to call it that, Illustrator tool, which is fantastic, especially for looking at pictures. And here you have AJ Puk's pitches from 2022. There's a lot there to look at. Looks a bit confusing, doesn't it? But we'll break it down, we'll filter it, and we'll try and get some insights into what he was doing. So the first thing we need to do with AJ Puk, let's go down here, and let's look at batter stand. So, of course, as an electric lefty, he is absolutely dominant against left-handed hitters. 30% strikeout rate. Let's look at the average. The batting average against was 153. So really dominated lefties, as you'd expect. One slight issue he did have with lefties was hitting a few of them. And if I change this to plate appearance, hit by pitch, you will see them there. Now, to be fair to AJ, 2 of them were to Rizzo, 1 of them was to Kyle Calhoun, and they are notorious for sticking their elbow guard into pitches. But there we go, they're up here, and that's an important part of the zone, or outside the zone, I think, for AJ Puk, because we're looking at it here from the perspective of the catcher looking out at Puk. He's coming in with the left arm, and this is where the fastball in particular is kind of getting away from a bit, and it's flying out that way and going high rather than finishing it and going in the zone. And that's something that is not only important against left-handed hitters, but particularly important against righties. When we change it to right-handed hitters, what you see, look at all of these up here. And this is an issue because a lot of the time they are wasted pitches. They're pitches that the right-handed hitter can easily take for a ball and force Puk to come into the zone, which is of course what you don't want to do as a pitcher. You want to be getting the hitters to chase pitches they can't hit, and a lot of the time these pitches up here are waste pitches. They're not really doing any good for AJ. The interesting thing with the pitch classification, I will say, they do have him as throwing fastballs and sinkers. I'm not convinced he throws a sinker. I think they are the same pitch, essentially, or very similar. But against right-handed hitters, there is a changeup. And when I say there is a changeup, I do mean a singular changeup. Let's go to pitch type, click on changeup, and there it is. Harold Ramirez was the lucky recipient of an 89 mile per hour changeup, which was taken for a called strike, and it's in a nice position there. But that was the only changeup he threw all of last season, and that is going to be the big difference maker for AJ Puk as a starting pitcher. We know that some pitchers are able to get away with just 2 pitches as a starting pitcher, but not many are. You really need at least that third pitch, especially against the opposite-handed hitter to you as a pitcher. You could get away with it, Puk, fastball slider against hitters when he's a relief pitcher, but going several times through the order, he needs that third pitch. And that's where the changeup is going to come in, especially against right-handed hitters. If we look down here, this is against righties, and you'd really like changeups to be down here. Everything's sort of going in this line, and that's where the slider is biting in, and it's such an effective pitch. But you'd like to have the weapon of a changeup down here, low and away, to get the hitter thinking of another angle that they're going to have to cover off. So he only threw 1 in 2022, but if we go back to 2019, he did throw a few more, so let's have a look at that. So here we are, 2019, obviously a little while ago, and pre-Tommy John surgery as well, so he may be a slightly different pitcher now, but he did throw a few changeups, and this was in a limited period of playing time. The one thing I'll say about it is that most of them are down here, and that's not really where you want them to be as a left-handed pitcher, do you? You're throwing it maybe with a circle change motion like that. You're wanting it to run away, low, away from a right-handed hitter, and that wasn't really what he did. That one did, but otherwise he's kind of dragging them across here, which isn't ideal. I guess you could say they're moving in the same direction as the slider, so there's the difference in velocity a little bit, which may help, but you'd like him to be hitting this corner a lot more with the changeup against right-handed hitters. And that's really going to be the story for AJ if he is going to make it as a starting pitcher. Can he bring that third pitch to the table? He's done it in fits and starts in the minor leagues, according to scouting reports, particularly with a changeup, but also with a slight curveball as well. He needs to develop it, and that's been the issue going through the minors, with issues around his pitching arm and then his command of those pitches. There's always been that feeling that he may wind up as being a very effective relief pitcher, but a relief pitcher all the same rather than a starting pitcher. He's going to get the chance by all accounts. Of course, it depends on him coming into Arizona next spring in good health. But what do you think? Do you think it's a good idea? Are we risking it too much? Should we just be happy we've finally got AJ Puk pitching well and pitching healthy and not trying to push our luck? Or do you think the potential upside of him being a starting pitcher is well worth going for?